Welcome back. So in the previous tutorial, we have seen how you can use Playwright MCP server for network audit. Now this is just one basic thing that is a possibility from the Playwright MCP server. There are huge number of possibilities, and if we talk about or take the examples of what usually as the tester you do for testing any of the web application. So say for example, we have this sample web application. We usually day in day out work with the dev tools, right? So we go and check the responsiveness, we check the console errors if there are any, right? We checked different DOM structure, we go ahead with the code coverage audit. So these are some of the application behavior and debugging that we do on a regular basis in the dev tools. Okay, then if we talk about the performance and reliability, we have already seen about the network validation, the network request, the API responses, etc. The performance, the how much response time a particular request took, that's what we have seen in the previous video, right? We can also do for the do test or use AI for memory leak detection or network throttling. We can also use AI for user experience, security and compliance. For example, you can use it for the responsive testing, for the accessibility audit, for any of the security checks in your application. So lots and lots of possibilities are there if you use AI properly in your application testing. So for example, now we have already seen about the network analysis. Let's go ahead and see how you can use AI for responsive design. So let's go back to the VS Code here, and if you go to the VS Code, we have these settings here, right? So if you go to the configure tools, you will see the MCP server that we have installed. Playwright MCP server will be listed here. Let's do one thing. There are different or built-in tools there as well, which is basically open and interact with the integrated browser pages. I will uncheck that and specifically mention that we want to use the Playwright MCP server. If you have any other MCP servers, you will get that in the list as well. So if there are, say for example, two different MCP servers which are doing similar thing and you want to use a specific MCP server, it's always better to go ahead in the configure tool and uncheck the MCP server which you do not want to use. Okay, so now we have just this MCP server. Basically I have unchecked this browser from the built-in tools, and here I'll simply go ahead and ask in the prompt to open my test application. Okay, so I'll say navigate to what is my test application. So I'll just test this page itself. Okay, so home page. So I'll open this page. I'll say use Playwright MCP server and navigate to this specific page. I'm very specific that I want to specify only use Playwright MCP server. Okay, the model, I'll choose the simplest model, GPT-5 mini, and obviously the mode will be the agent mode. Okay, so let's go ahead and send this request, and you will see that Playwright MCP server, it will analyze what I'm talking about. The large language model, which is selected as GPT-5 mini, will analyze this plain English and will be able to come up to the conclusion that yes, I have to go ahead and use the tools that are available in the Playwright MCP server to open the browser and navigate to the localhost 3000. You'll see it is basically preparing all of that detail. So you'll see that it is basically asking my permission to navigate to the URL. I'll say allow in this session and it will open the application. Alright, now I can go ahead and simply in the prompt, I'll say, let me copy the prompt and I'll explain it. So it has got this snapshot as well. Let me allow. So it is taking the page snapshot so it can basically understand what all elements are there on the page. Okay, so you'll see that it has basically resulted into the page load. Now you can imagine how much tokens it has consumed just to open this specific page. So when you are typing in the prompt, you can also specify simply open the page and take the snapshot and do not do any other task. So that will ensure that it doesn't consume too many tokens as such, and your task is little quicker as well. But if you choose any other advanced model, you will get much faster result as compared to GPT-5 mini. So now say for example on this page, or I want to do some sort of accessibility or responsive design testing. So I can in the prompt itself, I'll simply say, let me go ahead and explain this prompt. So act as an expert QA tester, test this page for responsive design and prepare full report for responsive testing. Follow the device list and other details listed below. So as of now, I have just prepared a very basic device list here for the tablet, iPad, portrait and landscape, mobile device, iPhone 17 Pro Max and Google Pixel 9. And then in the desktop, just the common laptop and the HD monitor. Then I am saying orientation check about the orientation, device, rotate mobile tablet views to confirm layout, adapt between portrait and landscape. Then critical workflows, validate the navigation form buttons, okay, are usable across all screen sizes. And then accessibility in the responsive, so ensure the text remains readable, contrast is preserved, and touch targets are large enough on the mobile. So you can specify whatever details that you want to exactly test in the responsive testing in your prompt, and then the Playwright MCP will go ahead and ensure that you are able to, whether the responsiveness is working fine or for that application it is fine or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me update this before I send this. So act as an expert QA tester, I'll say use Playwright MCP server, or I'll say act as a QA expert tester and use Playwright MCP server to test this page for responsive design. Okay, now let me minimize few of the things. I do not want to make this task to run very long, so I'll say I'll remove this accessibility in the responsive. Okay, I'll simply go ahead with the critical workflows, orientation checks, and that should be good enough. Okay, or let me even remove this critical workflows, so just the orientation checks, so the task finishes quicker. Now here I'm just demoing you to go ahead and understand how you can use it in your real projects. You can update these prompts as per the project requirement and whatever you are going to test. So let me send this. So it is taking the snapshot. Let me allow this, and you'll see it is picking up the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So let's say allow. I'll say allow in this session. You can see it is continuing the mobile checks, the mobile that I have provided, Google Pixel 9, portrait and landscape. So now you'll see that it has basically did all the inspection and creating the responsive test report markdown file. And you'll see that it has basically created those to-dos based on the prompt that we have sent. Run responsive checks for the listed device. We have clearly listed the devices on which we needed the responsive checks. Then it has collected the screenshots and layout issues and generating the markdown report or summary report. So the report has been generated. I'll simply go ahead and keep it. Say if I want to see the changes here or what exactly the report is, you will be able to click on it. It will give me a clear list of the tests that it has performed in terms of the responsive testing. So let me keep it, and then we go to the file. Now let's see, before we go to the file, let's go to the summary. Okay, so what this agent has done is ran automated responsive checks against this page using Playwright MCP browser, covering the device lists and orientations that we have specified in the prompt. Okay, so what it did, resize the page and capture screenshot and layout scans for the devices we mentioned: iPhone 17 Pro Max, Google Pixel 9, iPad, desktop, different orientations. Okay, different sizes. For each viewport, it ran a DOM bounding rect check to detect element positioning outside the viewport. Alright, and then save the screenshot and generated the markdown report. So what is the key finding? On a high level, no horizontal scrolling was detected in any tested viewport. Okay, the primary machine detected artifact is off canvas left sidebar. Okay, so these are the issues that it is basically highlighting in this test application. With negative left values at narrow width, this appears to be intended collapse off-screen sidebar and does not cause horizontal overflow. Then landscape and desktop sizes show no overflow issues. And then the artifacts, what all artifacts it has created, the report, the full report, and the screenshots that it has taken for different devices that we have mentioned. So if we go ahead and say, for example, I say iPad portrait, that's how the website looks on the iPad portrait. So not only it has helped us to do the analysis, but did a complete screenshot. So every level of detail, how it actually looks, and the screenshots are available in different portrait or landscape. If you go to the desktop, you'll see that's how it looks. And if you go to the mobile phone, portrait, that's the portrait. Okay, so that's portrait, that's landscape. All right, so that's how basically it has taken those screenshots. Now if we go to the summary here or the test report, you will see that the outcome, the test setup and everything is listed here. All the details are now available in the report. Okay, so now what approach? So say for example, you have all of these AI models and the power available to you to do this analysis and do the test quickly. But would you go ahead and run the same prompt to test against each of the build? That's not basically advisable, because see, for example, if I'm going ahead with these prompts and just using the AI models to test. First thing is that I'm using a lot of tokens. Okay, so it is costing me money. So the better approach is I have done this analysis once, then I'll go ahead and say in another prompt, now create the Playwright script to test all of the things that I have done or I have tested above. And it will create a Playwright script which I can go ahead and add in my automation framework and then rerun that script instead of relying on the AI models, right? So that is the better approach, because you will be then saving the token, and that's better usage of the AI in the testing. AI is there to expedite, and AI is there to help us the areas which were very difficult to go ahead and cover. So now we are able to go ahead and cover a lot of untouched areas and complex areas in the application which were taking a lot of time. So for example, if we talk about the responsive testing in so many different devices, we used to do it, but then it was very time taking. So with the AI in picture, it is now helping us to expedite and get more coverage in terms of the devices that you can test. So that's one thing. Now, whatever AI has suggested, is it actual a problem or not? That needs to be validated as well. So whatever response, whatever report you are getting as the QA engineer, it's your responsibility to actually go ahead and see, are those problems really there? And if it has shown that things are working fine, still you go ahead and check, is it still working fine or is it actually working fine or not? Before you go ahead and 100% believe that yes, AI has provided you the correct outcome, because AI can make mistakes. So always keep that in mind. The last step of verification, validation is with you. So you take help, whatever you need, but then make sure, even with these screenshots, I'll still go ahead as a tester. I'll make sure that I physically test these or test these in the mobile, landscape and portrait and whatever devices I have selected manually, and then see if those problems are real problems and then report the defects to the developers. Okay, so that's about the user experience testing. Now, similar to this, we can do the security checks as well, or compliance check as well. So for the security test, what I can do, I can simply say check the security tab or act as a security expert in the prompt. Check the security tab, and is the site served over HTTPS with valid certificate and no mixed content. So something like that, right? So is the site really secure? So that will be basically, or LLM will be able to help me to do the security checks. Similar to this, we can do the compliance check as well. And once we are done, then we can say, I'll paste this prompt here. Now act as an expert, Playwright SDET with JavaScript or TypeScript, whatever language you are following for your Playwright test automation framework. Generate a Playwright test that runs the app in multiple viewport sizes and verifies layout consistency. So I'll simply say generate a Playwright test for above testing that you have done. Okay, so what it will do is it will generate a Playwright test case that I can then go ahead and use in my test automation framework. So I don't have to come back and do the same prompt here. I can simply run this Playwright test script manually, and that will be a lot quicker and will be saving me the cost that I'll be spending in the AI tokens. So if I go ahead and send this, let's wait for creating this test file as well. So it will start creating a Playwright test file in the test folder responsive.spec.js, because I have specified the JavaScript file. So in the folder structure here, it will start creating the file in the test folder. Okay. Now if you see here, the screenshots that have been taken are in the root folder. So in the prompt as well, make sure you specify where exactly you want to create these screenshots for the responsive checks or any other testing that you are doing with the AI. Be as clear as possible in prompting techniques and use the techniques that I have taught initially. Okay, so the same approach you can follow for any testing that you are doing with the AI or taking help of the AI to test the application. Create the automation file and then go ahead and execute that file locally to test similar functionality in future releases of your application. Okay, so that's all about this tutorial. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.